I am Tara, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel, Spirit Mother Teachings of Going Within. I better not do that, might fall. Today, I'm going to talk about being authentic, okay? And the part of being authentic is being able to come out of your comfort zone, okay? To shine bright and be your beautiful self, okay? Being authentic can be hard sometimes because we get we get nervous, okay? And it's like we become afraid to show others who we are sometimes, and it's a lot of fear of what others are going to think of us because we're being our authentic self. It's not about pushing yourself onto others. It's about just being you, and if they don't understand it, just leave them go. They're just not there yet. They're not ready, and they don't understand sometimes maybe what it is like, or they want to be able to come out of their shells and be who they are, only they're afraid to be their higher self, of the fear of what other people may think of them for one reason or another. My chair. Okay, so I'm gonna pick a card. Like I said, I do that a lot. I'm just gonna go in and just take a card and kind of see what it says, because it's a surprise to me. Okay, it says, write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. Okay, so being yourself. Today, for me, it was it was a good day. Okay, I'm I'm not used to wearing a dress. Sorry, not used to wearing a dress, but I'm wearing a dress. It's out of my comfort zone. Thank you to my sister for the dress. I love it. Okay, so it's the part of being authentic. So today I did I did a TikTok video, because I do TikTok videos, and it was the first one, and I don't know how many tries I did until I got it the way I wanted it to come out, because either I was in the wrong position or what have you. Part of it was like I was being authentic, but the places that I was standing wasn't the right place. So I kind of move. But today, like I said, like it's about going within, and I put my experiences out there. I do have the video on my YouTube of what I did today about being authentic. So I was very nervous because I was singing in the light language. Not only was I singing, but I was dancing. I was like very joyful and full of energy and feeling my higher self, my higher authentic self, and allowing it to come through. Because when we suppress our authentic self, what our authentic self is something that we want to be, something that we want to do, but we're being held back because fear of being judged, ridiculed, shamed, fear of, will it work out? What will other people think? And in all honesty, it doesn't matter. We don't have to put and flaunt it and like flaunt it in a way where it becomes an aggressive, assertive way, because people will come and people will look and they will see the inner you. Okay, they will see where it is coming from. Don't be like, it's not about being aggressive. And I know on some of my videos, it seems like, well, you're being really aggressive. And in aspects, it's some of me, but where I am totally connected to others, others come through me because it's stuff that they've gone through, that they've observed themselves. And it's like saying to the world, hey, this is what we're doing to each other. And when you allow yourself to let go of your own inner conflict, inner traumas, and allow yourself to just let it all go so that you can bring forth, opposed to being in fear of being yourself because you're afraid, like I said, of what someone else may think, or they may not like it. And it's like, just get it done. That's somebody expressing what happened to them. It was like a shame, like telling you, no, don't do that. But I'm here to say, like, be you. Don't put it in an aggressive manner because you figure somebody's not understanding you. Because I know that's happening with a lot of different people right now, because they're trying to be who they are, only some are going about it the wrong way. They're going in an aggressive way and they're pushing it on everyone. And we can't do that. We have to allow people to come to it themselves. As much as sometimes I want to shake people and say, hey, I see your higher self. I know what you can do. I know your potential. I see it. I see the inner beauty. Like, even if there is an exterior that may appear to be an ugly attitude, an ugly personality, that's what peeves me off, because I see the inner potential that you have, and you have an aggressive shell on there for one reason or another. But I see the inner you. And that's why I get so tough sometimes, and it comes out of me, other beings, other ancestors, and it's like they're seeing it too. And sometimes it's like we all get angry and frustrated. Like I said before, I'm holding myself back in a lot of ways, but I'm holding myself back because I want to bring others with me. And if that sounds in an egotistical way, which sometimes things like that feel like that to me, but I go from here. When my head starts getting in my way and it starts telling me, like, who the F do you think you are? Like, you think you're better than everybody else. But no, I don't think I'm better than everybody else, because I know that I am equal to this concept of a person or people or a group being less than or greater than. No one is less than, no one is greater than. We are all equal to. Some may think that they are greater or better, but we were all created equally. We all have unique abilities. We all have uniqueness to us by the way we look, or at our inner self. But it's not about being angry. It's not about being assertive. It's about seeing your inner self. And sometimes when we see our inner self and we see others out there doing it, but we're afraid to do it, then we become angry in some aspects. And some may think like, who do you think you are trying to tell me how I feel? I'm not trying to tell you how you feel. What I'm saying is that I feel you on a deeper level in a way, like I said, I see your higher potential. I know somebody that they always wanted to be into interior designing, and they had a beautiful knack for it. But life kind of kicked them, and they felt like the chance wasn't there. Well, there's always the opportunity. It doesn't matter how old you are. The opportunity is always there. It's a matter of going forward on it. It's not always that you need to do the work. Like I said the other day on my video about like, hey, if you want, I'll come to your house in feng shui. But sometimes it's just about explaining to a person what they can do to create their own feng shui. And a lot of that is by going within in your inner self. It's by just a feng shui is by rearranging, getting rid of clutter, stuff that we know you no longer use, and it's just sitting there collecting a lot of dust. Some stuff is collectibles, some stuff is memorabilia. It's a matter of, instead of putting it all in a pile, if it is important to you, don't put it in a pile. Don't set it in a corner. Don't put it in a box and leave it there. If it is a part of who you are as your higher self, put it out on display for you to see it. Organize it. If you do crafts, you can organize everything in a way that you can see it all. And then in order for others to see your workspace, put it out for them to see so they know what you have to work with. I can help with that. But you just have to let go of the control, and you have to let go of it becomes clutter in your atmosphere, because what it is you are cluttered. You cannot, it's hard to organize outside if you're not organized inside. And I said before that it like a lot of the ADHD aspect of what it is you are connected with the spirits. Okay. And the spirits are all coming in, and it's some are aggressive, and what's happening is some are trying to give ideas. So it becomes clutter, and you can't hear, you can no longer hear them because there's so much pressure coming in on you. But once you're able to sit with yourself, because there was times that I felt like I was ADHD before I knew what was happening with myself. I know another person that, like in the beginning when they first had their own place, they were very organized. And like I said, then things happen in life. And we can become depressed, which depressed is deep rest. We need deep rest. Our body is saying, hey, you need to slow down. You need to calm yourself. You need to center yourself. You need to go within and take all the outside and shove it away. Take time for yourself. And some may say, well, I don't have time for myself because I got to do this, I got to do that. You only have to do that because you're keeping yourself busy. We think that we have to put everything into a time. But what we really need to be doing is taking the time for ourselves and saying to other aspects of our life, like, hey, you know, you got to wait your turn. I just had somebody say about work. Okay, I understand if you work, but are you being taken advantage of at your work, or are you working all the time because there's something somewhere else that you don't want to be dealing with? When I do these videos, a lot of it is to get us asking ourselves these questions, because I ask myself the same questions. Yesterday, I had someone tell me that they had a lot. It was like their mind wouldn't shut up. And I know that feeling when the mind won't shut up. So it keeps us from being able to create, because there's so much clutter and mind chatter. It's like, no, you got to remember this. You got to think of this. You got to think of this. And it keeps you thinking of it. So it's like constantly going. It's like, like, tell it back off, you know, hey. So part of to be able to become authentic is quieting the mind. It's getting rid of the mind clutter, the clutter within yourself, the clutter around you, because everything does have an energy signature. And every time you bring something in, it has an energy signature. So if you have something that's been stagnant and it's kind of, a lot of the time it can bring about a not so great memory. So it's about getting rid of it. Throw it at, not like, if it's something like a item that you can donate it, because it's not for you. That item is not for you. It's meant for someone else. And that's why I go to the thrift store. Most of my stuff comes from the thrift store. And when I go somewhere, as if I look at it and it's like, wow. It's something that's meant for me to experience, to bring into my home, because it is something, could be from my past, it could be from a past life, reminds you of something good. So you're bringing a positive energy into your home. You're releasing stagnant energy that no longer serves you, and you're bringing in good energy. And then if you have something in your home, you bring it in your home and you get it home and you put it on and what have you, and then all of a sudden you're feeling something wrong. Think of what the last thing was that you brought into your home. Then get it back out, because it's not something for you. It needs to make its way somewhere else. It's like people and things can be a stepping stone. You are the one that's going to get them to their next place in order for them to make their way where they're meant to be. Even objects. You'll feel it. And when you start letting go of stuff that is not meant to be there, then that's when you start making room for the stuff that is, that helps you become your higher authentic self. Because if you're looking around your house and it's just like almost like an utter, like it can feel like an utter disgust. It can feel like a just constant confusion. But it's usually when it's happening, it's because you have something there that is continuously carrying that signature to keep you going back to your mind clutter, to keep you going back to the chatter. It's like you got to figure out what it is, and you can. And like I said, I can help because I can feel stuff. I can feel energy, and I can feel what energy directs to you, either it be in a positive way or a negative way. And in doing something of clearing things out, it's a matter of, like, if you're doing it yourself, it's a matter of talking to yourself. Why is this? Why do you have it? Why are you keeping it? What makes it so important? What is the memory behind it? It's like there's a series called, what is it? Hoarders. Thank you. It's called Hoarders. Okay. And a lot of people, they have an attachment to something. Some people, for some reason, they have an attachment to something that would appear to be a piece of garbage to somebody. And we don't understand why they have it. Okay, I worked in a motel. Okay, I cleaned the rooms, and I also worked in the office area. Okay, and there was this person that was residing in a room in the motel, and they were a teacher. Okay, teachers can be very authentic, eccentric. Okay, I know the man that owned the place that I live in now. He passed away, but I can tell by the design that he was eccentric. And he was a teacher. Okay. This person, the room was, I was very uncomfortable in the room because I never knew, I didn't, when they left and I went in to clean it up, it was a heap of garbage. Stuff that was no good, that was moldy, that was rotten. The room smelled very bad, and it makes you like, what attachment did they have? So I didn't feel good in that room at all. And I just had to keep running out, but I kept going back in to clean it up. I don't want to ever have to do that again. Because it was like I could feel them. I could feel their inner confusion. I could feel their state of not being well. Internally, mentally, physically. emotionally, spiritually. They were dealing with something and they couldn't. So it became just a multitude of clutter, not being able to, like, it was just like, throw it here because the mind wasn't connected. And that's what happens to us. We become disconnected with ourselves. Some may agree with me and some may not. And I'm not here to judge. I know sometimes it may seem like I'm judging, but as I said before, sometimes it's like I start to judge and it's like I got to haul it back because it's remembering that high possibility you were the same way, but you grew out of it. This is me being my authentic self. Because it's my higher self, because of who my higher self is. This is why this happens. Hence Spirit Mother. I had somebody before tell me, like, they say, like, it's like a negative attachment. No, maybe you're seeing it as a negative attachment because it's something that you're not used to, or because I come off as being assertive aggressive. It's like the mother father, the male female, the masculine feminine. The mother can be pretty tough because sometimes you get the mother, and if you have two siblings who are too conflicting or what have you, it's like the mother, sometimes the mother can step in and say, shut up and stop your fighting. It's like neutral corners, everyone. But I did a lot of inner work myself because I wanted to be, I was, and I am an outgoing person. I love to laugh. I love to dance. I love to sing. I love cheering people up. And sometimes I seem like I'm a depressed little ninny. But it's a matter of, in a lot of cases, we don't know what each other are going through, what we're experiencing. I experience a lot, and I know you experience a lot, because we're all growing, we're all evolving, we're all changing. Even if we want to say that I'm not changing, we're being forced to change. A lot of, like we say about what's happening in the world, okay, a lot of it is, it's can appear that other people are doing it, but it's the push. Things are happening because mother, father want the fighting to stop. They want the unity. It's helping one another. And some say, well, no, you're here to worry about yourself. Well, I can't worry. I am not able to just worry about myself. And worry is a bad word for me to be using, because it's not about worrying. It's not about worrying about others. It's about wanting to help others see their inner self, that it's not all about anger. It's not all about being depressed or remembering things that keep us in a lower vibration. I am here for a reason. And if it means that I have to come off as being a bitch or come off as being aggressive, assertive, to help myself see myself and to help others see their full potential, that you can be the things that you want to be. It's a matter of going after them and saying, hey, like, go pound sand to the people who say, well, you can't do this. Because they keep you in a lower vibration, because in a lot of aspects, it's because they're in that lower vibration and they had that happening to them. Or sometimes it's because they don't want you to be more than what you are, because sometimes it's because we're feeling that way ourselves. Because I know I'm not a non-guilty party. I know that I've done it myself in some aspects. But sometimes when it happens, it can be a matter of the universe is pushing you and it's trying to say, like, okay, it's like when somebody says you can't do something, you want to prove them that you can, right? That you can do it. So it's like saying, you may think I can't, but I know I can. It's not about doing it on the backs of others. And making other people fall so you can get ahead. It's about helping each other get ahead. Working with one another to get where they want to be, where they're meant to be. You can't allow somebody to pull you down, but you don't go away. It's not about going away and staying away. Sometimes it's just a matter of giving a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way. Encouragement goes a long way, instead of criticizing someone, as I did in one of my other videos. Because when we start uplifting people and encouraging people, then we become our higher authentic self. We become our true essence. And the ones that can be the hardest sometimes are heart souls. And it can be the old souls not used to change. And just because someone is young doesn't mean they're not an old soul. And just because someone is old doesn't always mean that they're an old soul. If you get what I'm saying? Decía todo yesterday. Some of us have been incarnated and brought here more than once, experienced different versions. And that's why it's easier for them to get through to their get into their higher self of who they are as a higher dimensional being, as a higher vibrational being. It's about centering the oneness together. And if you have, like I told people before, if you have a lot of energies coming in at you, a lot of the negativity, a lot of the mind clutter, the brainwashing, as we say, as some say, okay, when you have that, it's like, okay, this here, why I'm showing you this is because when you put when you put your hands like this, what you're doing is you're at your heart center. Okay, see, your heart is here because you have the lower, you have the upper. So it's like this because we all have a big heart and it's expansive. Okay, a lot what happens is the energies can come in and that's when we get angry because it becomes aggressive. Two people become aggressive towards one another, or you become angry with yourself. And that's when we start talking down to ourselves. Okay, so it's a matter of going to your center and pushing the energies that are clouding, that are pushing in on us to keep us from being able to center and release the mind clutter, the mind chatter, the mind manipulation of just so much coming in. It's like, calm yourself, be centered with yourself. And like I said before, some, they can't do meditation, but it is hard when you start, because the energies don't, like, there's energies that just, they don't want it doesn't want you doing it. Because when you're able to start calming your mind, then you're freeing your mind from all of the manipulation, because it's a manipulation of your own brain creation sometimes, because we stay more on what we've experienced or out around us, opposed to just being with yourself for a while. It's not like we don't have to be doing something all the time. I like just sitting in the quiet with nothing, or sitting out in my yard and just hearing the birds. And I do get the chatter sometimes. Okay. And I get the conversations. I hear the conversations. Okay. Of how others are speaking to one another, how others are talking with one another about things that are happening in the world, because it's all aspects of myself. And like I said, I do go watch my own videos, and it's not ego because I want to see myself talk. It's because, like I said, we can always put out advice, good advice, and sometimes the advice may seem bad, but it's all in the person. Maybe maybe someone else needs that advice at that moment. Maybe you don't. So it's a matter of what resonates with you. What may seem that, oh, well, okay, maybe this applies to me. And that's why I go back and watch my videos, because it's also applying to me, so that I can take my own advice. And sometimes it's because it's others giving me advice through like other aspects of myself that experience things, giving me advice that I've forgotten or misplaced. Decía tu Teresa, eshkole eskrimo kurianna ki tu dasa. And with doing all these, like the exercise of being able to go in to yourself, even if it's like start off a minute. If the mind chatter seems much, just step away for a sec, come back. But don't give up trying, because you're going to get it. You're going to get there, and you are going to push that mind chatter away. Right now, we're all having ascension symptoms, and a lot of it is like the fatigue, lack of sleep. It can be frustration and anger, and we start taking it out on each other because we're dealing with a lot of inner self trying to get rid of our own conflicts within ourselves. Even if you don't know that you're doing it, you're doing it. Forgetfulness, not remembering something. Well, maybe you're not remembering it anymore for a reason. I know sometimes I feel like I have to be remembering stuff, even if it's not good for me. Sometimes we're remembering it because we're still not completely healed from it. So it keeps coming back until we can heal from it. And once we start healing and we start releasing, we become more connected with our own being, with our own inner self. And we're able to put our needs ahead first, because there's nothing wrong with putting your needs and your ambitions in the forefront. Because once you do that, then you're able to expand your own horizons, and then you show the changes that you've made, inner and exterior. The other day, I had somebody tell me that I looked very radiant, and I didn't quite understand what, like I knew radiant. Okay, I knew it was a good compliment, but I didn't take it to my head. This is like, thank you. It made me feel good because I knew it was something good. But then I looked up what radiant meant, and it meant that I was bright, I was shining, I was a light, which means that your inner self is coming through. You're becoming younger because you don't have that weight anymore. And we are realizing that there's jobs we're in and we don't want to be there no more. Sometimes it's you're in a job where you're constantly isolated, and then you feel like, no, I just want to be around people. It's time for me to try being around people, because energies are hard. And sometimes when we are alone all the time, there is a lot that comes in. So sometimes, yes, we do need to be around other people. Because our true essence, we are people. We are a people person. And right now it is about, sometimes we need to be by ourselves. We need to be alone and tell everybody, go away from me. Don't isolate to the point where you're pushing your loved ones away that are there, whether it be something you're trying to get through. Don't push them away. Just say like, hey, I don't mean to make you feel like, or have you, I don't mean for you to feel like I don't want to be around you. But right now, I need time for myself because sometimes you just, it's too much. Sometimes it's because some people have a negative outlook on something, or their feelings are getting in the way. Because it is about feeling and letting go. And that's how we get to our authentic self. Because first off, you need, like, understanding oneself is a big thing. And that's how we get to finding our authentic self, being able to say, hey, I'm going to be big, bold, and brave. I'm not going to listen to what somebody says that, oh, well, you can't do this, or you need this much money in order to live. You need the amount that makes you happy. If you're working so hard because of money, how happy are you when you're doing something that is not conducive? We can settle for something because we say, we can lie to ourselves. Well, I do like my job, but ask yourself, is it what you really want to be doing? We want our own. It's like sometimes we want our own schedule. Not being told, okay, you got to be here and you got to work this hard, this amount of hours. I want to work my own schedule. So I'm figuring out what it is that I want to be doing that allows me the ability to do that. And some people say, well, you got to work. Well, who are you to tell me I have to work? Maybe I just need something part-time to help me to just survive right now until I figure out what it is that I want to do. It's not like I have to go everywhere. It's not like I have to have all these things. If I want something, I'm happy to go to the thrift store and manifest it being cheap for me. Because it can. And it does happen. Like I said before, I manifested an air fryer that was pretty much brand new. And if I had bought it at the store, I would have been paying almost $200 for it. But instead, I got it for $25. Or like it's manifesting things you want. We may not get them for free, but we may get them for pretty cheap. It's not about always going and getting the name brand stuff. Because most of the time, it's not of all that great quality. It's more in the name that you're paying for. Oh, I gotta have it. Well, go to the thrift store and find it. Because you can find the stuff that you are looking for if you go there knowing that you're going to find it. I had somebody ask me, like, one time, like, how do you find all the good stuff? It's because I go there knowing that I'm going to find something that is good for me, that works for me. And it's not because I don't go through every rack, moving every piece of clothing. I skim. I feel. I skim it. And if it's something that I'm meant to have, then it'll be there and it will draw me to it. Don't go. It's like knowing it's there. Not looking for it, because it will find you. It will draw you right to it. And that is real. Just allow your intuition and your clairvoyance and your inner your true abilities, because we all have these abilities. Just some are more advanced than others, and some are doing it and they don't realize that they're doing it. It's like I said before, like if you're thinking about someone and then all of a sudden either they show up, you get a letter, you get a message, you get a phone call from them. Well, that was the telecommunications. It was your own telepathy. You were sending that vibration to them because you were thinking about them. I know, because I've done it a number of times and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. Someone and like I was really proud of them. They quit their job, not having another job to go to, and somebody, a few people thought, well, you're foolish. Like, why would you go do something like that? It's like if you're working somewhere and you're being abused and you're being talked about and it's not a healthy environment, then what does somebody where does somebody think that it's okay to tell somebody to stay in an abusive environment because it's work? You can't do that to people because it's not fair. Just because you would stay, you're holding yourself back. So and if you want to hold yourself back, that's entirely up to yourself. But we have no right to try and hold somebody else back or tell somebody that they need to stay in an abusive work environment because of money. Because you're only hurting them. You're not helping them. You're actually, and I'm going to say it, it's actually abusive behavior. The same as with what's going on right now with our systems. It's abusive behavior. It's abuse of power. You are keeping other people in a lower vibration by your actions, even though people are responsible for their own actions, responsible for their own reactions. And we're responsible for our own vibrations. But when people are pushing and their vibrations are pushing on you, it's hard to get into a positive vibration. So it's a matter of telling the person, hey, go fucking pound sand. Excuse me. Just say, like, I'm sorry if you feel that way about yourself, but that's not how I feel about myself. I live life for me. I'll help you, but I live life for me. I have to put me first. And we have to put ourselves first if we feel like we're going to be able to maybe help someone else. It's a pay it forward. Even the smallest little thing can go a long way. A beautiful compliment can go a long way. Can make someone's day. Even if the morning was shitty, somebody gives a good compliment, it can make the person feel good for the rest of the day. It's a matter of letting crap just flick right off you. I know I'm still learning. But I know that sometimes when it's more of a, when an ego comes at me, which I find it's a narcissistic behavior. It's not necessarily that the person is a narcissist, because we all have that ability, even if people want to deny it or not. We do. It's when I'm dealing with one and they come after me, it's like, hey, have a look at yourself. Or have a look at, like, when it was happening with you, because usually that's where it comes from. It's usually something that's happened and it continues on. It's, like I said before, it's a vicious circle. So it keeps us from being our authentic self because it's beating us down. So then you get the full blown, like more of a narcissistic behavior. But a lot of it is because they're angry about what happened to them. They don't know how to deal with it in a lot of aspects. So it's reflects onto other people because it's like, well, it was done to me, so it must be normal in some aspects. But it's a matter of thinking and looking at it this way, like, okay, when it was happening to you, how did it make you feel? And I know, like, that phrase, when I had a psychologist look at me and say, well, how does it make you feel? In some aspects, they weren't doing it in a good way. It was more of a patronizing way. Because I did nothing to them, but it is a reflection. It's like kind of having us look at ourselves and say, which I'm starting to understand a little more, but it's all in the way you put it out, it's put out there. Because it's like when somebody said, like, you're explaining something and it said, well, how did it make you feel? And you're explaining an abusive thing that happened to you. Okay. It's like, I don't know, how would it make you feel? So it's that in that aspect, it's making the person that asked the question look at themselves. Right now, my mind is like, it's woohoo, it's, you okay? Yup. Yeah. Oh, shit. It's like, if you were doing it, if it was being done to you and you did it to somebody else, or it was being done to you and you were doing it to somebody else, it's more of, think of how you felt, not and how does that make you feel. It's think of how you felt when it was happening to you. That's what I was trying to explain about it's like a difference of how did it make you feel opposed to how did it feel when it was happening to you. I know that's almost like a paradox, but it's like the world is upside down and we're flipping it upright. It's all in how we perceive and look at things on a different perspective. those are kind of, it's like I'm going to have this epiphany again when I go back and watch. It's like, yeah, the realization. It's not about something you learn in a book to say to somebody. It's a matter of going within and figuring out the true wisdom of it, of what the message actually is, what it's actually bringing forth to oneself, and the epiphanies to others, for others and yourself to realize that it's like, okay, you're right. It made me feel like shit. Or it made me feel like that person was a real asshole. So, okay, maybe I am being an asshole. I am. But when you reflect, it's may not seem so nice when you're saying it to the person. But when you're dealing with the narcissistic attitude, not like, because like I said, we all have that narcissistic attitude because it's looking at oneself. And that's why before I did a video on the difference between a narcissist and an empath, and some people may not have agreed with that, and some people may like totally understood what I was getting across or bringing forth. Okay, so having these epiphanies and seeing that it's not only others that do it, we do it ourselves. We just don't notice that we're doing it ourselves. And it's all a learning curve. We're all learning the lessons and experiencing different things to learn our lessons of what we have done, either in this lifetime or a previous lifetime. And if I'm crazy, I'm proud to be crazy because it means that I'm waking up. I'm becoming enlightened. I'm bringing forth the true wisdom of it and the more of the understanding and the realization of, hey, whoa, it's like shaking my head. Shaking the brain, shaking it loose, saying, look, because the answers are within you. When we see things in our dreams, it's things that we've experienced. And it's making it where we're remembering it, and it's coming forth for a reason, because it's something that we have to deal with. And some may not understand that right now, but I know that one day you will understand it. We're all learning. I'm learning, and I'm learning for myself. I'm my own teacher. So it's like, like, really, try something that you've been afraid of trying. Come out of your comfort zone. Like I said, today I got up in front of the camera and I sang and I danced and I put out like a bit of message to people, but it's also to me. I'm no exception to the rule. I'm here to learn just as everybody else is. Some of us are experiencing things faster than others, and that's okay, because we all came in here with a plan to experience things. And sometimes we veer off the plan, but we're always we're always brought back because we always veer off to possibly learn something different or experience something different. Like I said about my poem that I wrote back in 99 when I first started going through this. Life, and the true meaning of life is a challenge. It works in mysterious ways. It has its ups, downs, and sometimes it's just upsetting. We live life for what? To be happy, sad, or just to be known. And right now, it's all of the above because it's all the experience. I would rather learn by experience than go look at a book. I can take into account other people's experiences and teachings. But in the end, it comes back to yourself and how you perceive it and what you take from it, because we can all learn from each other, because we are one. And it's knowing that everybody has something to offer. Everybody has a piece of information that may actually resonate with you, and you may understand it because it is something that you're going through. And it is a matter of listening to what other people have to say, because it may make sense. I'm not saying everybody may make sense because everybody is different, but in the end, it's about learning from your own experience and what you can get out of it. And in the end, it becomes the empowerment of self so that you can be authentic. And you can come out of your comfort zone. And then your light is just going to shine so bright. And then some people may not be able to be around you at that point. But then it's teaching, showing them that you've changed. You become happier, lighter. Because I'm looking forward to the day when our light bodies kick in. And it's like, we all lift off the ground and start flying around, because it is going to happen. When? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it, because I already have the visions and the dreams that I've actually done it before. And I do get I do get the light body where I feel like I'm just going to float right up off the ground. So when that time comes, if you happen to be around me and it happens, or I happen to be around you when it happens to you, let's not get freaked out by it. Because it's going to be pretty cool. We might be pooping our pants a little bit. But we are light bodies. Push energies out to keep you fogged and become one with yourself. And the universe. Mother Earth, universe, the whole. This is like, it's light language. When it's all a light language. And when I'm talking, I'm signing, and it's part of who I am, and it feels good. Because it's clearing it's clearing energies, and it's moving energies, and it's So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope some of this resonated with you. I just took another card for kind of closing. And this is what I got. No such thing as coincidence, just synchronicities. It says, things turn out people who make the best of the way things turn out. So, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing, ready to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Never give up. Keep going. Know that you are strong. And shine your light as bright can be. I love you all. Have a great night.